What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, and I'm going to give you, in no particular order, 5 amazing blues rock tunes, intermediate style, that will immediately make you a better guitar player if you learn them. So I'm going to break them down right now. But real quick, huge shout out and thank you to Boss for sponsoring this video and making a bunch of killer patches that are totally free for the Boss Katana. The one that I've got a link down there for is in the style of Eric Clapton's Crossroads era. So a great kind of fuzzy rock blues patch for you guys. So check all that out. Check out the Boss Katana as well. And let's get to these top 5 blues rock tunes. All right, number 1 is Clapton Cream Crossroads, an amazing blues rock riff in the structure of a 12-bar blues, but with tons of cool little concepts that I can't wait to show you. So here's Crossroads. All right, so like I said in the intro, I have full long-form tutorials on each of these songs. So I won't break them down as a tutorial, but just kind of go over some of the cool elements of them. Now, Crossroads. So first of all, you've got a classic blues rock concept where you're playing a riff, but you're also playing the 1, 4, and 5 of a 12-bar blues. So you've got this A minor, open A minor pentatonic riff. And then this very clever little harmony. Then the 4 chord, without a riff, just the D7. But these little riff again. And so then the 5 chord, which is now like more of a 12-bar blues. And then, if you learn this intro, which like I said, I have the full tutorial of it, you've got a bunch of outside of the pentatonic notes in the licks. So one right away, you can slide from this little part of the major pentatonic. So normally the minor pentatonic would be 5th fret, but you can slide from the 4th fret, which adds a nice little extra little kind of sound or flavor in there. And then another thing that's super classic of Clapton's style soloing are these little nudgy bends where you take the minor third and you just bend it a little bit. So it's not quite a half step bend, but it's almost like a quarter tone bend. So that's another element. But then another element on top of that is the straight up major third hammer-on from the minor pentatonic scale, which would be hammering from 5 to 6 on the G string, you know, if you're in the key of A. So that outlines, that's a stronger outline of an A7 chord. Number 2 is Red House, and this is another 12-bar blues, but with some amazing techniques, including the little D7 shape for the intro, some notes in the licks that are outside of the minor pentatonic scale as well that you must know to become a better player. And so I'm going to just overview that right now. Here's Red House. All right, Red House is another kind of slow 12-bar blues. Hendrix almost exclusively played tuned down a half step, but since this isn't a full tutorial, I'm just going to keep this in standard tuning. So if you're playing along, and you can kind of just look at some of the elements. So once again, just like Crossroads, for this video, I'm just going to think of it as a key of A, blues in A. So just like Crossroads, it uses this D7 shape. We use that same shape moved up for an A7. A little shell voicing of A7. You'll hear that's the same notes as the same chord, or this, or this. All different versions of A7, and it uses this classic intro. And so we're using a little D7 shape and half step. You hear that in all kinds of blues music. There's variations. Lots of things you can do with it. You can do just the G and high E. But in Red House, it's this classic D7 shape. And that big fat chord, he'd use his thumb. I don't really do thumb. Do a full bar chord. And then just some amazing blues licks that I really recommend you learn this intro. And one of the most important blues bends is the B string up a whole step. And then he does a classic up, down, but you're bending that 8th fret B up a whole step to the root. I also recommend you, when you do those bends, if you're going to hold it, try hit the vibrato at the top of the bend. And I love the up and back because you're getting root, flat 7. And And then another thing that's great in that intro is, which you would hear, you'd hear Stevie Ray Vaughan do it all the time, where he's using this 7th fret high E here, which that's called the 9. It's not part of the minor pentatonic. It's a half step lower. And Stevie Ray Vaughan would constantly use it, and especially use it on the 5 chord. So if you're playing an A blues, you got the 4 chord, 5 chord, also hear elements of that hammer-on major third. The 6th is just like the 9's here, but the 6 is on the B string. So go check out Red House. All right, no blues is complete without Stevie Ray Vaughan, and number 3 is Pride and Joy. I'm keeping it in standard tuning. Actually, I'm going to move to my Strat, but Pride and Joy, there's so many elements to it, and once again, I have long form tutorials on all of these songs, so you're going to want to check the links below for that. If you want to get a deep dive long form tutorial on each of these, I have a pretty updated new Pride and Joy lesson as well that goes into all the elements, including a Texas Blues style premium course. It's over 10 hours long at martymusic.com as well. So here's the elements of Pride and Joy. All right, so number 3 here is Pride and Joy, and once again, SRV would tune his guitar down a half step. I'm just going to be in standard tuning and just talk about a couple of these classic things that are in there. One is that intro uses little elements of the blues licks with that open high E ringing out like. And so something to take away from that is knowing you're playing blues in E, you've got the E minor pentatonic along the B string. So I always recommend you learning your minor pentatonic on one string. It'll really help your playing. I was going to say blues playing, but all playing. It's a very, very valuable thing that I wish I would have done sooner. But when you're in the key of E, you can have the high E ring out with those notes. Another thing is this great double stop that's just from the E minor pentatonic, which is that 8th fret B string and 7th fret high E. So many different things you can do from that, like. And then, of course, the classic Texas Blues Shuffle, which has a lot of different elements to it, and I really break it down on my Pride and Joy full long-form tutorial. But some of those elements are, one, having the major third in there. And then also that kind of open hand fanning. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And on those ups, along with the then you also have these elements. All right, next we have Freddy King going down, and I don't do that many gigs a year anymore, but whenever I do one of my own gigs, I always play Going Down. It's one of my favorite licks, favorite tunes to jam over, and also it's the classic intro to Eastbound and Down, one of my favorite comedies as well, so I always connect to that as well, which is random because that happened many years, decades after the song was out. But I always fondly think of my man Danny McBride as well. So check out Going Down. Number 4, Freddie King Going Down. And what I love about this is it's a 12-bar blues, kind of like in the same concept of Crossroads, that it's a 12-bar blues structure, but with riffs. And one of my favorite riffs of all time is Going Down, and it uses this idea which is that slide, the classic slide, from 5 to 4, interval-wise. So if you're in the D minor pentatonic, you'd have 7-5 on the G, and then 7 to 5 on the D, but you slide with the third finger from 7 to 5. That's the tastiest slide in the pentatonic. Now you also have the flat 5 in between the 7 and the 5, which you could slide up to and slide down from. And then it's also between the 5 and 3 on the E string. Going Down, gotta learn that one. And finally, another king, Albert King. We can't go without Born Under a Bad Sign. Epic riff, even clever with using the key of C sharp as well. Structure of the 12-bar blues, but not a 12-bar blues. It's the 1-4-5, but riff-based blues rock. And that's what I love about this tune. So here's Born Under a Bad Sign. Check it out. And number 5, Born Under a Bad Sign, another blues rock tune kind of in that vein of Crossroads and Going Down, in the sense that it uses the 1-4-5 blues structure, but then uses riffs instead of playing you know. So it's in C sharp, and that's another awesome thing about Born Under a Bad Sign, is if you're in C sharp blues scale or C sharp minor pentatonic, you get the open E as part of the scale. And you've got this beautiful box right here between 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 4. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed just an overview of those 5 classic blues rock tunes. Don't forget, I have long-form tutorials on all 5 of those songs. If you really want to deep dive and learn them, every element, you know, the licks, the chords, the rhythm, everything, check out each of those tutorials. And also, once again, huge shout out and thank you to Boss for sponsoring this video and making the killer sounding patches that you can use totally for free for the Boss Katana. Those links are below as well. Thanks for supporting Marty Music, and we'll see you guys again real soon.